I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with experiments that they've done with rats where they've been able to control them sending electronic impulses to their brain. Can the RFID send electronic impulses to your brain and essentially control people's moods and maybe even actions?
No, not the way I view. Like, I mean, how the radio frequency ID, it has to work within a certain frequency range. So, you know, products like the Verichip, I see them being very much a product that goes into market as a health device. It will get a lot of synergy from Obamacare where, you know, Obamacare could actually mandate and say, look, if you don't actually take on, you know, Obamacare, and basically, you know, if you have, let's say, diabetes, for example, and don't take the microchip, well, we'll just fine you whatever it was, you know, up to $4,000 a day. I've heard there's been different reports. But there is, you know, chips that are coming down the line. I mean, and British Telecom basically discussed the product itself was called the Soul Catcher. And what that really is, that is a brain chip. So what it does, it basically embeds itself, you know, within the brain. And the purpose behind that is to be sort of like a black box on an actual, on a plane where the chip itself is actually downloading one's life experience. And then from that perspective, you have got total control to the point where you could have mind control, obviously, in this product. There would be an actual biofeedback coming from the actual chip itself saying, okay, well, look, Greg Nikolettos does not particularly care for the naked scanners. Well, let's send back a data packet back that can actually correct his thinking. So what it comes down to is these chips, or the brain chips, will actually be a totally different market to what the Verichip is. The Verichip will be sort of the entry level, but you will see Intel, you know, British Telecom, and all the other, you know, large players actually start pushing what's called brain-to-brain communication, and that is happening right now. And of course, you know, they will basically use, you know, the moral and the ethics angle and say, you know, we're here to help people that are handicapped, people that are paralyzed, and it's always one of those angles. So the only time that science actually utilizes morals and ethics is when they basically want to implement their agenda.
Well, you just gave me chills with that name, Soul Catcher. I've heard of that technology before. I've never heard it by name, and literally I have goosebumps and my hairs are standing up because that's...
I mean, yeah, what a name, Chris. I mean, what a name. I mean, God's sakes, if, you know, they're telling you. That, I mean, and the Soul Catcher itself, the point behind it is, let's say, for example, you had a person who was totally compliant. So let's say you had, you know, a person who's been a drone from birth, raised by parents who are drones as well. He joins the Hive Mind Collective, you know, goes to work, does his job, comes home, drinks his beer, watches the game. You know, it's all fine as long as, you know, whatever he gets, you know, he gets, doesn't question the system. What you realistically could then do is take that person's life experience and the map of his life, and then you could then actually start downloading that data into newborn babies, creating baby clones, baby drones, and therefore there's more worker bees created, more drone bees created, and the hive is happy. The queen bee continues, and so the hive is fulfilled. So the implications of, you know, brain chips go far beyond what the Verichip basically is. But as mentioned, they're all stepping stones. Everything is a stepping stone to the next agenda, and then eventually mankind will find itself at a crossroad and say, how the hell did we get here? And the answer is apathy and non-action.
Right, it's the frog in the boiling water theory. If you throw him in boiling water, he's going to jump right out. If you turn the temperature up slowly, he's going to cook to death.
Absolutely.
I just lost my train of thought. I had a really good follow-up question.
Don't worry.
Why don't you go ahead?
The Soul Catcher chip downloaded it, Chris. It's all good.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's amazing. I've talked to people who, you know, I'll bring this up to them, and they'll turn around and say, what do they say, Socio? About the chip in the head?
Yeah. I told him about that earlier. Yeah. Someone I knew said that he would like to have a chip implanted in his brain to basically store all of his memories, and so that all you have to do is like hook himself up to a USB port and then like download all his memories and be able to experience them even when he's like 70, 75 years old.
What do we do with people like that just simply don't get it?
Really, you can't, because they are their own gods. So, I mean, when you look at that particular application, it really ties into the person's desire to view more of himself, to basically, it's really like a self-fulfilling sort of a prophecy where, you know, I'm willing to let the military-industrial complex microchip my brain. I mean, who wrote the code? Who will actually monitor this microchip? Which insurance company is going to underwrite the actual product? So it's just it's fanciful stuff. But I can tell you, when you actually start looking at the human plus, the transhumanist movements, and the profits of strong AI, they are taking a religion to market. It is the new religion. It is extremely well honed. You're focusing on dorks, basically, you know, your World of Warcraft freaks, who really have no social skills whatsoever. But as long as they can cast, you know, arcane barrage and have an 80th level, look, I'm not totally up on it, but
I'm not either. So,
but you see, the point is, you have reality, and look, reality is grim, but reality is reality, you know. So what is being presented by this globalist agenda, they are making reality very difficult. People are losing their jobs. People are finding it hard to put food on the table. There is very little hope. So all of a sudden you have, you know, movies like The Surrogates from Bruce Willis, and you have, you know, movies like obviously the big one with Avatar and the like. And what they're proposing is, you know, your life's pretty average. I mean, you know, you have no social skills, you have no girlfriend, look, you strike out in life. But hell, in this game or in this particular virtual upload setting where we can perhaps even upload your brain into a different substrate, well, you could go into this particular virtual world and you can be 6 foot tall, a baseball player, and at the same time, how about we explore pedophilia? Or how about you become a rapist or a murderer in this virtual world, because the virtual world itself isn't real. So how about we just basically explore avenues that you could never really explore in reality, because obviously there's, you know, the legal side to that. But when you start looking at what the options that are available in the virtual world, it's really to dehumanize and devalue the human being.
It sounds like social engineering, conditioning, and game theory all rolled into one, doesn't it?
All into one. And that's what we need to realize is these people are highly intelligent. They understand the human psyche. They understand how to push the buttons, how to move the game at a certain level. Like sometimes, you know, and we do about 20 to 30 news feeds a day. I'm just in awe at what's coming out from you know, the science and technology sector. It's just, it just boggles my brain. I just go, okay, well, why did these scientists do this? Like, and the reason is because there is no morals and ethics within science. They just basically do what they do because they can. So similar to, I don't know whether you get Bob the Builder there, which is, you know, that kid's cartoon, you know, can we fix it? Yes, we can. Do you get that one?
Yeah, my son used to watch it.
Yeah. To me, I have, you know, there's the scientist, the builder, and he says, can we do it? Yes, we can. And they just do it.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, and they just do it no matter if it's right or wrong to do so. DARPA's going to do it.
Exactly. We just do it. And we tick that box, and then the next grant arrives, and we don't actually realize that, perhaps what we worked on is now actually within the military-industrial complex and enslaving people. So, you know, the people that actually worked on the drone system, I mean, are they happy with the end result of, you know, people being basically destroyed by, you know, kids that have played gaming? Are they happy with those results? And this is the question. I don't get to speak to people like that, but, you know, the whole point is I'm just doing my job. So I need to put food on the table, just doing my job.
Well, exactly. I'm always talking about that, how the very top you've got the control freaks, and then below that you've got the corporations who go along with the agenda for the profit, and then under that you've got the people who need to put food on their table. And I think that's the biggest detriment to our society. People who just, like you said, just do it because they've got a job to do. And it's all leading in a very terrible direction. So